Hey guys, let's play, shall we? Okay, so we haven't quite hit 38.2 resistance at 26.63. We did hit another significant level, which is 26.20 area. I just got the daily here just to show you very quickly what this retracement could look like. We don't actually have any daily 3x3 resistance or trend line until we get down into roughly 2400 area. So let's go into the 4 hour and show you the trend lines that we're playing with. This one could be broken. You can see that we've fallen out of the trend line here, and we have this as our first retainer, and that's at 2490 kind of area. Our next level down is the big trend line that I was talking about, which I can get a little more accurate on now. It's 2395. And then we have an ultimate trend line down here if we're going to play the trend line game, and that'll be, depending how long it takes to get down there, it could be anywhere 2300. So basically we're looking at 2300, 2400, 2500 if we want to get super basic, which is fine. It's round numbers. I like it when it all lines up. Now I have a variation of this trend line that I'm looking at right now, and you can see I've thrown it in lower here, and we've just broken that. So it'll be interesting to see. Now this trend line that I have here, oops, right here, is not a very long one. Like we of course we can use it, but and I will use it, but it's you know, a 1 hour, 4 hour trend line. It's not big like the daily and the H4 trend line that I was showing. So I got my retracement levels here, and if we dingle around and you know, get caught between here, and it takes quite a while, we could actually stay above this trend line. But if it comes down quickly, we could break underneath and continue and get into the other trend lines. But we didn't hit my ultimate target, which is a little annoying, but I did know that this was the weekly, I think it's weekly resistance 1. So I knew there would be a bounce there. I wasn't there for it, but nice bounce too. Very good pips for the New York boys there. 113 so far. So that was nice, and it was easy trading per my strategy anyway. You could have caught it either way here. You could have caught the top, which actually went a little higher than I was expecting before the bounce. It was 26. Oh, that's right on what I was expecting. Now remember, we had confluence right above that. So if this gets back inside the line here, we do have this trend line that hasn't been breathed on yet. So if it dingles around and then gets back inside here, we could actually make higher highs underneath this trend line, depending how we want to do this. Now I want to go back to the daily because we're Thursday, so sorry, no, it's Thursday for me, so it's Friday that I'm doing this for. So if we look at the daily, we're actually going to get a significant. It's either going to be, if it comes down for the breathe and stays there, it's going to be an incredibly bear signal. If it doesn't close below this doji, then we could have some more upside before we actually breathe. So it's kind of important what's going on right now. It's actually very important in the long term too. Let's go into the weekly. If we close it above, of course, we're back inside this trend line. If we close below, so if we come down for a breathe and close, it could be very bearish. So then I may not expect, well, I mean, we could still test next week if we're in an ABC. So let's look at this one closer again. If this is still an ABC happening, although it very much looks like the ABC is done to me, but if this is still an ABC happening, we could, if that was just the A, get a close below this trend line, and then B could test it again next week, so we could get our higher levels, and then close below, and then make some actual headway back down. So it's quite important what happens on Friday, to me, the close of the week. and the close of the daily, because it's going to be huge. Like if it is going to close down at this trend line tonight, 2400 area, that's a huge not engulfing pattern. It's a three candle pattern. I forget what it's called, but it's very bearish, especially if it closes below the 3x3. Then it's go time. And if it gets below this trend line, it could be quite a sharp move down, which would be nice. If it toodles down, see, let me show you trend line here, so I'm not just yapping out my ass here. Let's just take one of the trend lines of the system. So if this is the top, we could get a toodle. You see how it could dick around. It could take a while for this to actually happen, and you may get a double bottom or something. But anyway, if it follows along this trend line, I don't actually expect huge lowers. If it gets below this trend line, I can expect some wicked, you can get some wicked market down because we don't have this retaining line. Now, if it's going to stay above, it could toodle, and you'll get something like that as the end of your line, and then we'll go into a big retracement, something like this, even something like this. And this is, I think, if I remember rightly, about 1,000 pips, 860. So you could get something quite significant after the last leg down here. So it really depends what's going to happen on this last leg, is all I'm trying to say. I really like this as a kind of a stop grabber. It just kind of went up, and okay, we're out here. But I really think that, especially if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in a 4 right now, and we're going to go 5. If that's the case, our 5 level could be right up exactly where I want it to be at the 2660 area, and it could be underneath the trend line. So it could be a really, really nice trade if it's going to happen. The only thing is I want it to happen next week now, because if we go up here, it's either got to motor out of there for Friday morning, right? Friday New York time, like just motor out of there to get back to the 2400 area to make it still bearish. So I don't mind it tootling down here and even coming back down below, just because it promotes a bigger market down. But as you can see, the trend line is broken, so as of right now, this system to me is done. Which kind of sucks. And I really wanted my sexy entry. But let's get into trading tonight. So you see what I'm playing with. We got this trend line. If we come up, we got this trend line that hasn't breathed yet, so you can look at some fibs coming up. I'm just giving this to you because nothing has really shown itself to me as a great trade. So I'm not going to force this market. So let you guys figure something else out if something else happens. So let's go over what might happen. As for fibs, let me just show you a trend line we have here that I think is affecting this market. You can see that to break this trend line, unless we do a proper break, breathe, and down, this is a retainer. This is most definitely a retainer, and it's in the 15 minutes, so that's nice. It's a very recent market. We got another one here that we're coming into the confluence of this. So, oh yeah, I wanted to look in the 1 hour here and look at the, you can see the level that we're looking at as the 38.2 retracement on this, which is 24.95. We're actually coming down to it right now. The only thing is, I don't really have any other way of looking at it. Let me see here. Sorry, I don't have any confluence that I've seen yet, so let's look for some. See if something is glaring. I'm going to take a fib rejection here. We got a bit lower at 2480 is a 1618 projection. You can see how the 618 was slightly respected. The 100% was obliterated. So that should make the 1618 extension palatable. But to me, that's 15 pips It's not super confluence to me in the 15-minute. It's not screaming at me. And when I do, if I use any of these moves where 2618 is way down, we're looking even, it's way down. So there's no confluence. This to me is where I would want to take the trade, which is 24.29, and yeah, anyway. So that being its own system, and then you can do it again using prior market here. Let's do that. Oops, get rid of this. Oh my god, prior market. So we got a nice fib down here to me. And that's down at 23.98, and again, that's that bigger trend line. So this to me is the trade tonight. But that's huge. Let's look at the 15-minute, and we'll show you 2400 area. It's way below the L5. So this is a monster move we're looking at. And it might be a dead fish bounce at that. This is a monster market coming down. As for a market open trade, I'm just going to delete this pending order. It's old. So delete it before it gets hit there. Let's go to the 5 and see what the markets do. Great retainer here in the, you can see the break breathe on the L3. I can't believe the Asian session. It just has the best trades these days. I may be switching to the Asian session at this rate. But you can see that the L3 to L4 trade was fantastic. We've just done a breathe on the L4 before the Euro Open. And the way Camarillos are traded, the L4 to L5 trade is in effect. So this should be where we're going, 24.76 without too much trouble. And fibs have just been killed all day. If I take the first fib of the day, it just got killed and was retained underneath. I mean, if you take it right from this whole leg, you had a bit of a reaction, but basically it stayed underneath that too. Just killer. Market coming down, which basically says when you get this kind of extended move that we are in a leg down or a system down, obviously, because of the market action. But just trying to see what else we got here. Something in the 24.50 area. But yeah, I don't have much of a trade. To me, that is a trade, right? What is that? That's 8 o'clock's a good time for a trade. I mean, that's about an hour before the Euro Open. Sometimes you get a setup then. So, but we're still going to need some kind of a because yes, we've done a small breathe on the L4, but we're still over this trend line, so we're going to have to breathe the trend line, then down to the L5. And I really don't see any resistance here until that, which is 24.30. And I don't have any intraday lining up with that. I don't have anything. I only have that. Let's see. Let's use prior market here. That doesn't line up at all, and this doesn't line up at all. No. So 24.02 and 24.30. Let's just go look at the retracement levels here. Actually, I had this one too, didn't I? So through the 61.8, we got a 50% at 24.50 and the 38.2 at 24.16. So these aren't even lining up as much as I'd really like them to. Could come up now and breathe on the 61.8. Sorry, on the 38.2 retracement. Or are we at it right now? hold on a second. Let me get rid of this little guy here. Yeah, we're just hitting the 61.8 right now at 24.95, and that might be a trade in itself. I just don't have any. I don't have anything lining up with it. I don't like it. I just want to see if I took this leg as its own. Oh, we actually have a confluence here. This is a trade setting up. We got a 61.8 and a 38.2 both lining up as confluence. So that's 24.89. Let me look at the trend lines again here. That's right on this trend line. Anyway, this is the trend line that I'd play with in the area that I'd play with. I'd play with a bounce off this, a break, breathe off this. I'd play with both, but they're both not quite what I like to see. It's not as much confluence and sense-makingness that I like to see. And it is getting into an extremely important area here. So if you want, just watch. Just see what kind of action this is going to give us. And it might be doing some, there might be some big players in here trying to swing this one way or the other. Because if we get a close up here, we're up, and we could get some really nice, right? We could go play with this trend line, no problem. If we stay below, we can get some lower lows, and that's no problem. So it's pretty important what's going on here. Okay. So I'm going to end off with that. If anything does come into fruition, like a little bit more than this very lame action that's happening right now, I'll come back on and do another video. But other than that, I'll see you next week. Bye.